to. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please make your way over here. We welcome you today to the official opening of the Black History Activity Books Launch and Expo. This is the Trinity, so this is the third in the series. Thank you so much for being here today, for the exhibitors, for the guests, those who will speak. Thank you so much for being here today. I want you to make some noise or a round of applause for the man and his team behind today, which is Andrew. Come on, give a big hand. He's going to tell you a bit about this journey even today, about the challenges that they've had and how exciting he is to have you here. And then we will share a prayer together.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out. It's been a big journey to get here today, so thanks for everyone coming out, all the store holders, and good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for coming out. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. This has been a journey. Thanks to everyone that's helped behind the scenes. Thanks to all the store holders for coming out, and thank you to you to make this day a special day. I started this event in 2018, and I never thought that I'd be in the NEC so quick. So this is a dream come true. I hope this is an amazing event for everyone, and you will be able to tell this tale for many years to come.
All right, give Andrew a big hand for me. Come on.
So, without further ado, me and Chazzy are going to like chop it up. We're looking for Brother Leon Marshall. Brother Leon, he's about to bring a performance and a presentation actually called The Science of Melanin. His stand with his books and his clinic, everything in science is over there, right to my left, to your right. But that's a beautiful presentation that's coming. He has a book on it. How many people know what melanin is? By a show of hands. Melanin. Wow, little man knows melanin. Melanin is a superconductor, right? Melanin is in all living things, right? We, as Africans, have some of the highest content of what they call hue melanin. That's what makes our eyes dark, what makes our hair black, and our skin this beautiful bronze, brown, dark chocolate, all our light skin, caramel complexions. That's what melanin is. And Brother Leon Marshall, oh, he's right here. He's going to come up and he's going to give a dynamic presentation, right? Which I'm going to call a performance of science and art around melanin, right? So without further ado, he's getting himself together. Let's put a round of applause before he even gets on stage for him, because he's doing the work right here in the UK for you and for us. Brother Leon, let's put a round of applause together. Come on, let's bring him up to the stage. Come on, for Brother Leon Marshall. Dr. Marshall is coming up. Thank you, my brother. Melanin, melanin, melanin. All right, King. Thank you. That's for you. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
1 2 1 2. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, greetings. Let me see if this works. Yes, sir. Okay. So for those that don't know, my name is Leon Marshall. I'm a sports science lecturer at London South Bank University, and I'm the co-founder of the Hidden Science Academy. The Hidden Science Academy, we put on events, we put on courses, online lectures, webinars, just to help the community to learn about things that they're not really taught in school, college, or university, like melanin. So I'm going to be talking about melanin today, and like the brother said, what is it? So we'll go over that today, yeah? Now, because I'm going to be talking about science, I like to start with a definition of science that is easy to understand. So this is my definition of science. Science is logic backed up by evidence. This is my personal definition of what science actually is. It's logic backed up by evidence. So logic, to me, is just common sense, and then you back up your common sense with proof. That's the evidence. Now, when I go with my own definition of science, I started to realize that science is very simple. It's very simple to understand. But for whatever reason, when we're growing up, especially our children, they don't like science, and it's because of the way it's taught to them. It's not taught in a very simplified way. But a wise person once said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. That was arguably one of the greatest scientists of all time, Albert Einstein. So if he can keep science simple, why can't we? So throughout tonight's presentation, I'm going to keep things super simple, because science to me is just very simple to understand. Or as another wise man once said,
boom! 2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
Quick maths. That's all science is to me, quick maths. So as I go through my presentation, I'm going to keep things super simple, because it's just 2 + 2 to me. That's all science is to me, yeah? And because I'm going to be breaking down melanin, I'm going to be talking about my debut book, The Hidden Science of Melanin, which is available to purchase today over at the Hidden Science Academy store. And all the information that you need to know with regards to melanin is in this book. I've done a lot of research, and everything that I say in this book is backed up with scientific evidence, yeah? Now, just for a show of hands, who doesn't have the book? Because I know some people do. Show of hands if you don't have the book. You don't have the book. That's pretty much everyone. Everyone doesn't have the book. Okay, I see people at the back. Show of hands. All right. Okay, for the people who don't have the book, I have one thing to say to you.
You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today.
So what are you going to learn today? So, like the brother said, what is it? When I tell people I've written a book on melanin, the first question I get asked is, what is melanin? So, what is it? Now, a lot of people, they think that melanin is just the skin. Melanin is more than just our skin. Melanin is in all of our organs. It's actually in our blood as well. So if I ask people, what is melanin? A lot of people cannot just answer that question with a simple answer. Now, there was a brother by the name of Dr. Laila Africa, yeah? A very powerful scholar And when it comes onto black holistic health, he was one of the best, yeah? He actually wrote a book called African Holistic Health. And the way he defined melanin was like this. Melanin is the chemical key to life. It is the chemical key to life. And I think that's the easiest way to understand what melanin is. That means if melanin is the chemical key to life, that means no melanin. What does no melanin mean? Answer that. No melanin, no life. If melanin is the chemical key to life, then no melanin, no life. And because a lot of us don't know this, or we're just not taught it from a young age, we end up listening to people who don't really tell us the truth. So I believe there's a melanin code of silence in science. There's a melanin code of silence in the medical industry. Because like the doctor, like the scientist Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. But I believe that they do understand it well enough. They just don't teach it to us. Yeah? So, in this book, I talk about the melanin code of silence. And it's one of the chapters. And in this book, I say, one thing I have noticed over the many years of researching this subject is that there seems to be a melanin code of silence amongst the academics in the science community. A rule that they all follow. So whether they work in the hospital or whether they work in science, it's a rule that they follow. Don't tell people the truth about melanin. So it's a code of silence. Now, where's the evidence of this? Well, for whatever reason, doctors don't tell us about melanin when we go to them with health issues. Nurses don't really know about melanin. The people who talk to us about health, they don't really talk to us about melanin, yet it's something that not only black people have, everyone has. So it's quite important. But unfortunately, there's a code of silence. So in science, in the medical industry, a lot of people don't talk about it. Now, some people will say that maybe the doctors don't know about melanin. If they don't know, then obviously that's the reason why they don't talk about it. But some people will say maybe they do, but they just don't want you to know about it. So it's one of the two. Either they don't know about melanin, and that's the reason why they don't talk about it, or they do know about it, and that's the reason why they don't talk about it. So unfortunately, what happens when we go to a doctor? Let's say we're a black person, we go to the doctor, we've got some form of health issue, yeah? When we go to the doctors, we're expecting the doctors to help us with our health issue. But you just had Charles on the stage here, and he said that he went to the doctors for many years and the doctors couldn't help him. Again, is it because they don't know about melanin, or is it because they do and they don't want you to know about it? It's either one of the two, yeah? So unfortunately, and this is through my own observation, unfortunately, when we do go to experts, because we call these people experts, when we do go to experts and we ask them about black health, our health, they do one of two things with us. They become tiptoers. So they tiptoe around melanin. So you ask them questions about their health and they start tiptoeing around melanin. You ask them questions and they kind of don't want to mention melanin, so they tiptoe around it. Or they tap dance around it. So when you go to an expert and you talk to them about black health, they either tiptoe around melanin, which I call the elephant in the room. It's like the biggest subject in the room. Or they tap dance around it. They'll talk to you about melanin, but they'll talk to you about it in a negative way. Yeah, you have melanin. That's the reason why, you're more likely to suffer from diseases. That's the reason why the melanin blocks sunlight, and that's the reason why you've got low vitamin D. So they either tiptoe around melanin or tap dance around melanin. And this is what I've found through my own observation. And science is based off of evidence. So where's the evidence of this? I'm going to show you a clip of someone who went into a doctor's practice and he just started filming secretly, but he just started filming his doctor. So he asked the doctor questions about black health. Now, before I play this video, I'm going to show you what the doctor says. Actually, let me just show this part and see what he says. Listen carefully to this part. So he's in the doctor's surgery and he's secretly filming his doctor. Listen to what he says to his doctor. Tell me if you can hear it. Hopefully you can
So,
hear
Doc,
it.
I've been doing some research, and I just been listening to stuff on the internet. Right? I just got to ask just a few questions. I just want to ask you how you think. I mean, how long you been a doctor?
2 years, but training before that was
Like 8, 9 years. Oh yeah, I can't.
But officially having the letters after my name 2 years. What's up?
I just have a curiosity, and because there has been a quite a few doctors that that I've been looking at.
Okay.
And the one thing that I have to ask you is there a difference between black people's genetics and other people's genetics on the planet?
Okay, did you hear that? The brother asked, is there a difference between black people's genetics and other people's genetics? Yeah? Now, did you see what the doctor did? The doctor was on his computer, and then he turned around and he went, so what do you think? Do you think he's going to tap dance or tell the truth? What do you reckon? He's going to tap. Anyone else? Do you think he's going to tap dance or tell the truth? He's going to tap dance. Tell the truth? He's going to tell the truth? All right, let's find out if he tap dances or tell the truth. Because remember, the question is there a difference between black people's genetics and other people's genetics? Let's hear what he says.
I just have a curiosity, and because there has been quite a few doctors that that I've been looking at.
Okay.
And the one thing that I have to ask you is there a difference between black people's genetics and other people's genetics on the planet?
I mean, there's difference between your genetics and my genetics. Sure.
Right, but how much of a significance of the genetics?
In terms of percentages, barely anything. But in terms of risk factors for certain diseases, you're more likely to have certain diseases depending on what your family background is and where your family was and where your ancestors were from.
Did you hear that? So the guy said, is there a difference? And he was like, yeah. And then the guy said, okay, as a percentage, how different are we? And he said, barely nothing. As a percentage, there's barely any difference between us and other people. But then the doctor goes on to say, however, black people are more likely to have certain diseases based on your genetics and where you come from. If we're all the same, then why do black people have more diseases? Because you just said there's hardly any difference between us, but yet black people do have a difference because we're more likely to suffer from certain diseases. So you'll hear that a lot with experts. They'll say that black people are more likely to suffer from certain diseases. So why then? Why? Let's hear what else he says with regards to why we're more likely to. And let's hear if he tap dances or tells the truth.
In terms of percentages, barely anything.
Barely
but in
anything.
terms of risk factors for certain diseases, you're more likely to have certain diseases depending on what your family background is and where your family was and where your ancestors were from. The short answer is yes. But when you say black, like black could mean a lot of different things.
And then he starts tap dancing. When you say black, that could mean a lot of different things. No, it doesn't. You know what we mean when we say black. Melanated human beings, people from Africa. Is there a difference between us and other people? So he starts tap dancing. When you say black, what do you mean? Yeah? So, unfortunately, this is what happens when we go to the experts. They tap dance around melanin. Yeah? And they'll tell us that we're more likely to. So I've found that this is a narrative, especially here in the UK. I don't know if you're familiar with this narrative. You've probably heard this narrative in the news. The narrative is called the black people are more likely to narrative. Yeah? Black people are more likely to narrative. You hear this every year. The NHS, they're always putting out stories. Black people are more likely to. What are we more likely to suffer from? Well, this is from the NHS Choices website. It says black health issues. Apparently there's a part on their website specifically for black people. How lucky are we? Yeah? It says black health issues. If you're African or African Caribbean and you live in the UK, you're more likely than people from other cultures to have certain health conditions, including high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and prostate cancer. Now, when you hear that, what is the logical question to ask when you hear something like that? Why? Why are black people more likely to suffer from these things? You ask the experts, the experts start tap dancing. Yeah? So, why are we more likely to suffer from type 2 diabetes? We are the face of type 2 diabetes here in the UK. Yeah? They make us the face. Yeah? They just get anyone who suffers from it and make us the face of disease. Yeah? For whatever reason, we as black people, we don't mind being the face of disease because we feel like we're promoting something that everyone needs to know. But the powers that be, they always use us as the face of disease. So we're the face of type 2 diabetes because they know the power of black people seeing other black people as the face of something. So when we see us, we're like, oh yeah, type 2 diabetes. We're more likely to pay attention. Yeah? So a black face is very powerful as an influential tool. But you know what's more powerful than a black face? Anyone know what's more powerful than a black face? A celebrity blackface. When they get a celebrity blackface, it's even more powerful, it's even more influential. So celebrity blackfaces, we're the face of disease, yeah? You ask the experts, why are we the face of type 2 diabetes? What is it about our melanin or our biochemistry that makes us different? Why are we the face of type 2 diabetes? And check this one out. This says, why are black men more likely to die from prostate cancer? So I think Prostate Cancer UK are here. They'll tell you that black men are 4 times more likely to die from prostate cancer than white men. Why? Let's ask the experts. So we're the face of prostate cancer as well. What about black women? There were stories that came out last year and the year before saying that black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy or birth, postpartum, than white women. So black women are more likely to die giving birth. Why? Let's ask the experts. This is all we get from them. Tap dancing. Never telling us the truth. And let's not forget COVID. Remember a couple years ago when COVID first happened, when the pandemic first happened, remember when it first started, black people weren't getting it. And black people were talking about, oh, we must be immune to it. Are we immune to the COVID virus? Then all of a sudden, we started suffering from it. And then guess what they turned around and said? That black people are more likely to die from COVID. Why? Let's ask the experts. Now, this expert was on Sky News, and this was during the pandemic. Now, listen to what he says. Listen to if he tells the truth or he starts tap dancing. He's going to tell you what he thinks the reason is why we were more likely to suffer from coronavirus, COVID, whatever you want to call it. Yeah? Listen to this expert.
There are socio-economic factors, but actually, when you look at levels of vitamin D suppression in these populations, I wondered whether that was the cause. And that's the advice I'm giving now for members of the Black and Asian community to consider vitamin D supplements.
So he thinks that the reason was because we were low on vitamin D. We were low on vitamin D, and that made us more susceptible to catching the coronavirus and dying from it. Now, there might be some truth in that, but did you hear what his solution was? His solution was vitamin D supplements. So because black people are low on vitamin D, the solution is a vitamin D supplement, which is interesting because in my debut book, I have color illustrations in it. And one of the color illustrations breaks down how our body, our melanated body, produces vitamin D. And this is science. This is not my opinion. When our melanin is absorbing ultraviolet radiation, that is when our body produces vitamin D. And it does it through a process. It actually converts the cholesterol that's in your skin into vitamin D. So there's actually a process, and it starts with sunlight, absorbing sunlight. It goes through your liver and kidneys, and then your kidneys produce the active form of vitamin D. Did we know this? So in order for your body to produce vitamin D, you need sunlight, melanin, healthy liver, and healthy kidneys. And then your body's going to produce vitamin D. Yeah? It's actually your kidneys that produce it. And there's one other thing that your body needs. Cholesterol. Because it's the sunlight with your melanin that converts the cholesterol into vitamin D. Now, this is something that the experts don't tell us. And why not? When you go to the doctors, what do they usually tell us about cholesterol and high blood pressure? Oh, black people, you got high cholesterol. Black people, you got high blood pressure. And then they say, here's a statin drug that will lower your cholesterol. But really, what they should be saying is, you've got high cholesterol. You need more sunlight, because the sunlight converts all of that cholesterol into vitamin D. And the expert before just said that vitamin D, low vitamin D levels, was the reason why we were more likely to suffer from COVID and die from it as well. So this process, which is in my debut book, explained in my debut book, this process is very important. So let's go back to the doctor or the expert and hear what else he has to say with regards to his solution. So remember, his solution was vitamin D supplements. The guy's going to ask him, well, why vitamin D supplements? Listen.
So the reason I mention it is because of clearly there's a higher level of melanin in the skin of black and Asian people, and that's to protect their skin from the sun and from the harmful effects of UV rays.
Did you hear that? So he said the reason why he mentioned that we need vitamin D supplements is because our melanin protects us from the sun. He literally saying that our melanin blocks the sunlight, and that's how it protects us. Because the experts believe that our melanin is blocking sunlight. In other words, it needs to block that harmful UV rays. Yeah? And I feel like that's another narrative that they run with in the UK. That narrative is the harmful UV rays narrative. And I'm sure you've heard of this one as well. Anytime you hear an expert talk about the sun, they have to mention the harmful UV rays. Yeah? Which is a narrative. It's an absolute narrative, because what they say is the reason why we have melanin is to protect us from the harmful UV rays. Is that the only reason why we have melanin? Let's do some just questions. Let's just ask questions. Let's just use logic. Now, this is an expert. This is a doctor. His name is Dr. Carl Merritt. Yeah? Now, sometimes when I'm talking about melanin, I like to show what Europeans are saying about melanin, so you don't think it's my opinion. They tell us that our melanin blocks sunlight, and that's the reason why we have it, to protect us from the sun. Let's see what the scientific community who are doing research, laboratory research of melanin, let's see what they're saying. So according to this expert, this is what melanin does. He calls melanin the chemical key to life. He says that melanin has a broad absorption spectrum. He says that melanin absorbs sunlight. It doesn't block it. He says it absorbs thousands of times more electromagnetic radiation, in other words, ultraviolet radiation, than chlorophyll. He says it exists in many tissues besides the skin, and it's present in the developing fetus. So melanin is not just the skin, it's in every organ. He says it's thought to be a master molecule for steering biological processes in the body. Now I'm going to show you a short clip. You can find this clip online. You can find this clip on YouTube. He's actually got a famous YouTube clip where he talks about melanin for 15 minutes, which is rare to find a European scientist talk about melanin for 15 minutes. I'm just going to show you a very short clip, of where he's talking about melanin. And I just want to see if you can catch what he says right at the end of this clip. See if you can catch it. Very short clip. Not too many people catch what he says at the end. Listen carefully.
Melanin's role is in fact even being rethought in medicine, that, is it really something that just absorbs sunlight, or does melanin have a role in the immune system in the body? And is it really more of an antimicrobial kind of defense against bacteria? Because melanin is found throughout all the animal and vegetable kingdom. And melanin is the very thing that you have in your hair and in your skin that gives you the color. Whether you're more red, whether you're more brown, whether you're tan, whether you're not, is because the melanin produced by your skin in the parts of the cell called melanocytes, or the pigment of your skin. And some people who have a condition called vitiligo, where their skin looks blotchy and they have white patches, they don't make this pigment. When you're exposed to ultraviolet radiation, you make more of it. When you're exposed to ultraviolet radiation, you make more of it. When you're exposed to ultraviolet radiation, you make more of it.
Did you catch what he said at the end? I don't know if you caught that. Did you catch what he said right at the end? I know it was quick. For the people who didn't catch what he said at the end, he said, when you're exposed to ultraviolet radiation, you make more of it. That means ultraviolet radiation tops up your melanin. It strengthens your melanin. It actually helps you to produce more of that thing that is the protective molecule. When you are exposed to ultraviolet radiation, you make more of it. According to who? Leo Marshall? No, according to Dr. Carl Merritt. That's what he said, that scientist, yeah? And sometimes we don't even need the science. We can drop the science and just use common sense. To me, science is simple. It's logic backed up by evidence. It's literally 2 + 2. So let's just do some logic, yeah? They tell us that the only reason why we have melanin is to protect us from the sun, yeah? That would mean that when we're out in the sun, the darkest areas then would be the areas that are exposed to sunlight. That's the darkest areas because those are the areas that are protecting us from the sun. So if you look at someone, your face is exposed to sunlight, your hands are exposed to sunlight. In the summertime, if you're wearing a vest, your arms are exposed to sunlight. But here's a question, and I'm going to present this to the ladies. Women, if the only reason why we have melanin is to protect us from the sun, then why do you get darker when you get pregnant? Why does this dark strip appear across your belly when you get pregnant? Every woman knows about this dark melanin strip called linea nigra that appears across your belly when you get pregnant. Why then would you get darker if the only reason why we have melanin is to protect us from the sun? Why? Let's ask the experts. What about the man then? I'm going to present this to the guys now. If the only reason why we have melanin is to protect us from the sun, that would mean that the parts that are exposed to the sun are the darkest. Question, man them, where's the darkest area of your body? Point to the darkest area of your body. And this is guys who are, very observant. Where's the darkest area for men? The darkest area for men is, very interesting. And this is the guys, and science is simple. It's based off of logic and evidence. You can go toilet and check, yeah? So if the darkest area for us is down there, then I'm so confused. You're telling us that the only reason why we have melanin is to protect us from the sun, yet the darkest area of my body is the part that's never exposed to the sun. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Let's ask the experts. So unfortunately, this is what happens when we ask the experts. They tiptoe and tap dance around melanin. Melanin is the elephant in the room. No one can ever tell us the truth about melanin. Yeah? And that's the reason why I did my own research and wrote my own book called The Hidden Science of Melanin, which literally tells you all of this stuff. Tells you the truth about vitamin D. Tells you the real reason why we all have melanin. Yes, it helps us with the sun, but there's so many other reasons. Yeah? It's involved in fertility. Yeah, it's involved in immunization. It's involved in so many other things other than just protecting us from the sun. So we need to learn the truth. Because what happens when we don't know the truth? When we don't know the truth, we listen to experts and they say things and we just take it as gospel. We don't realize how crazy it is. Like, let's go back to this expert and listen to what he says. Just listen, and I'm going to break down how crazy what he said is. Yeah, listen to this.
So the reason I mention it is because of clearly there's a higher level of melanin in the skin of black and Asian people, and that's to protect their skin from the sun and from the harmful effects of UV rays. And in European populations, we've lost melanin so we can absorb more vitamin D. So it's not really a problem.
Wait, did you hear what he said? He said European populations, They lost melanin so they can absorb more. Wait, I want you guys to hear that. He said European populations lost melanin. I just want to make sure that I'm getting that right. Listen to it again.
So the reason I mention it is because of clearly there's a higher level of melanin in the skin of black and Asian people, and that's to protect their skin from the sun and from the harmful effects of UV rays. And in European populations, we've lost melanin so we can absorb more vitamin D. So it's not really a problem if you...
Hold on a second. Wait a minute, family. I think I've lost my melanin. Where's my melanin? I think I've lost it. Can someone find my melanin? I think I've lost my melanin. Where is it? Can someone find it? Is it over there? My melanin. I came to Birmingham with melanin and then I lost it. I lost it. This is what they're trying to tell us, that Europeans lost melanin because, you know, they say that they came out of Africa and lost. How can you lose your melanin? It's either you have it or I've lost it. I've lost it. Yeah? So this is what happens. They end up being tap dancers. Tap dancers. And guess what happens? Because we don't know the truth about melanin and we believe the tap dancers, guess what we then become? Guess what we then become? We then become the tap dancers because we don't know about melanin. So we believe people and they tell us what we don't know about melanin, and because we don't know the truth, we become the tap dancers. You got to think, in the UK, we're the face of all diseases. We're the face of type 2 diabetes. We're the face of high blood pressure. We're the face of high cholesterol. We're the face of all of these diseases, even COVID. The only thing that we're not the face of is skin cancer. Oh, wait.
No, I don't wear any sort of SPF or suntan lotion because I don't really need it, to be fair. I'm not going to burn or tan, so I'm good. I am such a sun baby. Don't mind getting a bit of skin out. Chill, just get my melanin.
I don't generally use an SPF.
To be honest, I don't really use it.
And that probably sounds crazy to some people, but I think for me, being of a darker complexion, I naturally have melanin, so I don't feel like I'm never going to sunburn.
Black people are 1.5 times more likely to die from melanoma than Caucasians.
Really? Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Okay, so now we're more likely to die from skin cancer. The more likely to narrative. Now we're more likely to die from skin cancer than white people. Okay, but again, because we don't know the truth about melanin, we then become the tap dancers. So this is from Cancer Research UK, and they got these beautiful black women to start tap dancing. So listen, they're going to start promoting something to black people. Guess what they're going to start promoting?
It's a topic that the black community really need to be talking about. They need to be thinking about it a lot more.
I definitely think differently now after this chat.
That little sun cream you're putting on will save your life.
There are 3 things that can keep your skin safe during the summer. 1 is seeking shade, 2 is covering up via clothing, and the 3rd is sunscreen. It's recommended to use an SPF of 30 and apply that every 2 hours.
All right, so now, because we don't know the truth, we become the tap dancers. So now they've got black people promoting something that may have cancer-causing chemicals in it to black people. And again, this is not my opinion. I've done the research. You guys can check the references at the back of my book. Some of these sunscreens have cancer-causing chemicals in them. But now we're tap dancing, telling black people, hey, we need to put on sunscreen. Again, if we don't know the truth, we become the tap dancers. Yeah? And if we block sunlight, remember what I told you about vitamin D. If we block the sun, what happens to our vitamin D levels? Again, let's just drop the science and just use logic. Just 2 + 2. If the sun helps us activate vitamin D, if we block the sun, what happens to our vitamin D levels? Goes down. What happens to our cholesterol levels? Goes up. You go to the doctors, you got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, they give you a drug, and now you're in the cycle. Yeah? So we need to know the truth. But because we become the tap dancers, we're there tap dancing for the medical industry, not realizing it. Because this is not a hit on us. We don't know the truth. So we end up tap dancing for the medical industry. Yeah? And I see it all the time. So when I see black people who don't know the truth about melanin saying things like this, you guys might see it like this, but me, I'm always looking through the matrix, seeing things differently. You guys might see it like this. anytime I see black people tap dancing, this is how I see it. We then become the tap dancers, yeah? Because we don't know the truth about melanin. So they tell us something and we run with it. It's got to the point where they can literally use any black face to tell us their truth about melanin, yeah? So over the last 2 years, what's happened? Pandemic, COVID, all that sort of stuff. At the beginning, I said that we're the face of disease. Black people are the face of disease. And then I said to you, there's only one thing that's more powerful than a black face as the face of disease, or a black face to influence us. What's that? What's more powerful than a black face? A celebrity black face, yeah? So when it comes on to them influencing us, they'll get celebrities to tap dance. Listen.
I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm not a doctor, but I trust science. And I'm told that for some reason people trust me. So here I am to say, I trust science and I got the vaccine. If you trust me, you'll get the vaccine.
Do you understand that? They use us to influence us. Because, and I don't think Morgan Freeman knows the truth about melanin. So he doesn't know how powerful it is and how those vaccines mess us up. But he's influenced and he becomes a tap dancer. So again, you guys might see it like this. This is how I see it. So when are we going to tell people the truth? When is everyone going to know the truth? Because if we don't know the truth, we then become the tiptoers. We then become the tap dancers. We tap dance around melanin. We don't even know what's going on. So someone tells us something and we run with it. We don't even check to see if it's true. Yeah? And that's why I've written the book. So we understand the truth about melanin. So we don't end up being tiptoers and tap dancers. So it's very important for us to know the truth about this family. Know the truth about our health. Know the truth about vitamin D. We need cholesterol for vitamin D. We need sunlight to activate the cholesterol for vitamin D. Imagine if adults knew this truth. And the brother before me said that they use melanin as a superconductor. Melanin is actually a superconductor. It conducts electricity. And that is the reason why they're going to start using melanin in electronics. They're going to start using melanin as a computer chip. Don't believe me? Listen to the experts.
Melanin pigment, right, is so unbelievable, George. They're using it in computer chips now because it has an ability to transduce electrical energy. Can you imagine this? It has this incredible ability to hold on to and transduce and manipulate electrons, electronic energy, and photons, photonic energy. It's a fascinating molecule.
I break this all down. Everything he's saying is in this, yeah? So they're going to start using melanin as computer chips in computers to power up computers, power up electronics, yeah? And again, a lot of us don't know this. But imagine if we did. Imagine if we as black people, we lifted this code of silence. We lifted the lid off of the truth of melanin. Imagine how healthier we would all be if we knew the truth of how our bodies work from a black perspective. Because if we don't, we end up believing the tiptoers, the tap dancers, yeah? But imagine if our children knew the truth. Imagine if the young people in here knew that melanin is the chemical key to life. And from a young age, they understood what melanin does in their body. Just imagine that. Our children would be walking around sounding like this.
Within each living organism, melanin appears to be located in major functional sites. For example, in vertebrates, melanin is present in the skin, eyes, ears, and central nervous system. Melanin is in every living organ which aids the human body, regardless to the color of the skin.
Yep.
All genes in all creatures on this planet are black. They are all coated with melanin. Our bodies are dedicated to producing melanin. Our bodies produces an abundance of melanin.
Yep.
Can melanin become toxic? Yes, by eating the proper foods, having a diet that consists lots of starches, animal proteins, refined sugars. Basically, eating food out of their natural state will have negative effects on your melanin. When you eat bad food over a continued period of time, the body will become diseased. Also, not getting enough sun will also have negative effects on your melanin. If you do not purify your melanin molecule, you will not heal your body of diseases. Melanin is deranged when it becomes toxic.
Wow.
Yep, any individual.
Wow. Just imagine a world like that, family. Imagine a world where our children knew the truth about melanin. They were just walking around sounding like that. They knew the truth. Can you imagine? Let's just, everyone, just for one moment, let's just imagine a beautiful melanated world where our children knew the truth about melanin. Just for one moment. Now, family, imagine if there was a book that could teach them this truth. Imagine there was a powerful book that could teach them the truth about melanin. How powerful would that be if someone thought, let me write a book on melanin and teach the family, teach the community about melanin? Imagine if a book like that existed. All right, for 1 second, family, just for 1 second, imagine if a book like that didn't exist. Science is simple. It's just that you've been taught it in a confusing way. And there's only one of two reasons why. Either the person teaching you science doesn't understand the subject well enough. Or they do, they just don't want you to understand it. I'm going to let you put 2 and 2 together on that one. My name's Leo Marshall, and that concludes the end of my presentation. Thank you. And by the way, my book is available to purchase over there on the Hidden Science Academy stall, just right over there. Thank you very much, family. Yes, King.
Come on, fam. Another round of applause. Another round of applause. Fire. Chazzy, what you got to say?
All I'm saying is, Leon Marshall, you have taught me something magical. And people, if you don't take advantage of the fact that the book has been written, it is there for you to purchase. What is it? Come on. The Hidden Science of Melanin. It's over there. Just go and get it. Arm yourself with knowledge. Be informed. Don't die of ignorance. Well done.
Excellent. We can't just let our speakers that drop something like that just go like that. You see, I'm holding something in my hand, right? Right. What is this?
That's the kale.
Right. Everybody can see the kale, right? Right. How many people eat kale? Right. So you dropped it about talking about your diet and enhancing your melanin. Yes. Right. What is similar in this kale biochemically to melanin?
So in kale and in a lot of the green plants, they have something called chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is something that they teach all of our children in school. And this is the reason why I feel like they should teach children melanin in school, because everyone understands that it's the chlorophyll in kale that helps with the absorption of sunlight and in the presence of water and carbon dioxide that is involved in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is how the plants live. Photosynthesis not only produces the glucose, the energy of the plant, but it also releases oxygen. Yeah? The plant releases oxygen. Who's that good for? Us. So the plants release oxygen. And what's powerful is, what do we release? When we breathe in oxygen, what do we breathe out? CO2, carbon dioxide. Guess who breathes that in? The kale, the green plants. So there's like a symbiotic relationship between us and plants. Our black pigment called melanin, yeah, absorbs sunlight, and then there's a chemical reaction that happens inside of our body. This green pigment called chlorophyll absorbs sunlight, and then there's a chemical reaction in the green plants that results in our nutrition and in our oxygen. That is the power between us knowing about this pigment and this pigment.
Let's give a round of applause for our black scientists, our young black scientists. But the reason why I wanted to make that connection, right, with the kale is for more than one reason. One, I wanted to let you know that my sister Sandra and her horticultural group, Black Roots, is in the back, and they're selling all their organically grown produce grown right here in the UK, right? Connected to my brother Basie, right? He's around doing interviews somewhere. But we wanted to make that connection. Your health is your wealth. You've heard that earlier, right? Understanding is how you're going to go forward. Science is simple, right? Let's put 2 and 2 together and come to the conclusions that we need as a people. You know what I'm saying? Leon, thank you again, my brother. Let's keep doing the work. And I'm going to say it here first because I know this is live on YouTube. America, we're bringing Leon near. 2023. You already know I'm coming. We coming. So fam, we want some of y'all to come out too. But thank you again, my brother. And thank you, Sandra, for the work. Please, check out the Black Roots, please.
So yes, that stall, Black Roots, is situated to my left, right there in the corner. I think people think it's a display. So please, those of you in the hall, whether you're an exhibitor or someone in attendance, please come and see the Black Roots stall. Organically grown products right to my left, the far corner, or if my back to you, to my right.